August 14th marks the International Memorial Day for Comfort Women. It was first introduced by South Korea in 2013 to remember the victims of sex crimes convicted by the Japanese army during the Second World War. Up to 200,000 girls were forced into sexual slavery from 1932 to 1945. They were mainly from East and Southeast Asia, including countries and regions like China, the Korean Peninsula, the Philippines and Malaysia. Here in China, only around 10 of them are still alive. And for more on the reactions on this particular occasion, let's cross live to our correspondent, Jack Barton in Seoul. Jack, among those honored at Yasukuni Shrine, there are 14 World War II criminals convicted as Class A by an Allied tribunal in 1948. How's South Korea reacting to the latest Japanese move?
Well, unsurprisingly, there's been a strong reaction from South Korea, as there usually is from many other Asian countries, including China, when Japanese government officials make these visits to the shrine. Yesterday, the deputy head of Japan's embassy here was called into the foreign ministry, where he was told that South Korea found it deplorable that Japanese government officials would visit a shrine honoring war criminals, and also, these are the words of the ministry here, beatifying Japan's colonial past and wars of aggression. We saw a similar statement coming also from the defense ministry here, and saying it ran completely counter to the aims of both governments to try and find a future-orientated strategy out of the low diplomatic relations that they are currently experiencing. And they are very low, perhaps the lowest point since the end of the Second World War. All of this relating to legacy issues from the war, specifically a court case here where the court ordered Japan to pay compensation to forced laborers in factories and mines during the war, that has since spiraled on to include issues like wartime sexual slavery, the comfort women, and for which Japan has unleashed economic retaliation against South Korea. So, you know, all of these issues, again, is not helping when government officials visit such a controversial shrine that so many countries in the region are opposed to.
Jack, I can see that there's a statue of one of the comfort women behind you. So tell us a little bit more about this particular issue. And in recent years, we've seen twists and turns between South Korea and Japan over this issue. Would you say it's settled or not?
No, definitely not settled, even though there are, as you mentioned, only 14 surviving women who lived through wartime sexual slavery, euphemistically known as comfort women. That's what they were called by the Japanese army. And it's still very much a dark chapter in South Korea's history. Today actually marks the 30th anniversary of the first public testimony given by one of these victims, one of the former sexual slaves of the Japanese army. Her name was Kim Hak-soon. And she gave this official testimony, and it really opened the way for everybody else to come forward and talk about what they'd gone through. So today is a day where there are normally big public events. Because of the pandemic, the events have gone online. There was an online anniversary commemorative series. President Moon Jae-in also gave a speech today talking about the ongoing grievances, the suffering of the surviving women, and the need to keep their memory alive and also seek justice. What he called a heartfelt apology from Japan. There are also exhibitions today, and there are lots and lots of small events going on. You can see flowers next to the statue of the comfort woman behind me. There's a small booth nearby where women are, or all people, but women are also encouraged to come get their photograph taken in solidarity, learn more about the issue. So lots of events going on across Korea at the moment. And it's fair to say that every year this issue just gets bigger. Now, Japan does say in the 90s, the Prime Minister apologized. It did officially acknowledge that these women were forced into sexual slavery. But at the time, that was rejected by the victims, saying they wanted Japan's government to be held responsible, the current government at the time, And that's something that's gone backwards and forwards. And Japan says in 1965 there was an agreement, there was compensation, there was also another agreement under the former government of Park Geun-hye and compensation. But again, this was rejected by the victims. So this issue has gone backwards and forth. The only thing that is really clear is the incredible suffering and the pain that the women have gone through, not just in South Korea, but in many countries, and the scar that this country still sort of feels from this issue to this day.